Over the past year plus, TYT Investigates has done a great job of shedding light on the National Prayer Breakfast, this event that both Republican and Democratic politicians go to, but also the group behind the scenes that runs it. Well, joining us now to give us an update on this, help sum up some of the great work that they've done over there, Jonathan Larson, managing editor of TYT Investigates. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, John.
I like the festive background you've got there.
That's right, it's our atheist Christmas tree.
There you go. So as I said, we've had you on the show a couple of times over the past year to talk about this. Well, another National Prayer Breakfast is coming up in a little bit over a month. So tell me about some of the more recent work, our expectations for this year. Let's figure out what's gonna happen.
Well, we haven't been doing a lot of recent work on it because it sort of goes into a dormancy stage where we don't see a lot about it. But what happened was over the weekend, Chris Coons, the Democratic senator from Delaware, he appeared on CBS's Face the Nation, and he said he's not going to be the chair. He's often been the co-chair of the National Prayer Breakfast. He said that's not going to be the case this year, but they do have new co-chairs, and they didn't say who it was, and that was interesting because the last year, one of the things we reported was that two Democratic members of Congress, Ro Khanna and Ted Lieu, both distanced themselves from the National Prayer Breakfast in light of some of the reporting that we had done over the previous year leading up to last year's National Prayer Breakfast. So it's going to be interesting to see who exactly, among Democrats at least, is willing to go to this thing, attach their names to it, and be affiliated with it.
So yeah, I definitely want to get into that, but I know that we can't go through everything, but if you could give people who might be just catching up on this, that haven't seen your reporting, or maybe they haven't seen the Netflix docuseries The Family, why are we concerned about this event and the group that sponsors it?
So there are a few different things that have gone on. One is the group that sponsors it, the Fellowship Foundation, we found out has sponsored travel for conservative politicians from this country to go overseas, especially in Ukraine, where they have held meetings with anti-Semitic leaders, anti-LGBTQ leaders, as well as Paul Manafort's clients. One of the family congressmen, the FBI revealed, had met with Manafort's lobbyists here in the US, in Washington. We found out he also met on the fellowship's dime with Manafort's actual clients, the oligarchs who were paying for it. We also found out that an affiliate of the Fellowship Foundation, which has very strong ties, it's essentially a fungible organization, paid for Russians to attend the National Prayer Breakfast. If you remember, the FBI revealed that Maria Butina got a leader of the Fellowship Foundation to give her tickets to have Russians attend. We found out it went beyond the tickets. They actually reported in their tax filings expenditures related to getting them to attend. We also learned that there's a GOP mega donor, a guy named Ron Cameron, who has essentially, it appears he has used a variety of funding mechanisms to help support secretly the Fellowship Foundation from a financial. He's a former board member, president of his big agriculture company, a poultry company, has been a former president of the Fellowship. He is in the absence of Doug Coe, who used to run it, and which was a much more nonpartisan figure. Since Doug Coe died, this guy Ron Cameron and people associated with him, one of whom has been publicly a Trump person, they've raised concerns within the fellowship itself that they are losing some of that nonpartisan status. Chris Coons wouldn't talk to us last year, but we managed to catch him on camera at the breakfast, and he said he too has concerns about at least the appearance of partisanship.
Well, and that's what's so fascinating. So you have this group that is bringing people here for the event that doesn't seem to match up with the public image of the event, and they're getting involved in politics overseas. But when you just hear about it, like if you haven't seen this reporting, the National Prayer Breakfast, it sounds like the most benign event possible. And so I get why, like a lot of people who are not tapped into politics, they might think, well, why wouldn't someone want to go there? But if it has this group, if it has GOP mega donors, what are Democrats doing at this event?
Well, some of them are clearly there out of personal faith reasons. Chris Coons, as far as there's no reason to doubt the authenticity of his faith and the sincerity of his involvement with the group. He's also very involved with the weekly Senate prayer breakfast. They have weekly groups in both chambers that are not as closely or logistically affiliated with the Fellowship Foundation. And those appear to be, as you said, relatively benign weekly meetings where they discuss matters of faith. They talk through personal issues, all of that stuff. So we don't know, because there's not a lot of transparency, how much of that constitutes the substance of the National Prayer Breakfast, and how much is a lot more about the people who want to get influence and access doing just that.
And so you talked about, for last year, you had Ro Khanna, among others, starting to distance themselves. In terms of this upcoming event, do we know if Ro is not going to be going? Do we know if there's going to be attendance of any of those Senate Democrats or members of the House who are running for president? Has anyone gone on the record yet about whether they'll be participating in the breakfast this year?
So not as far as I've seen. The information doesn't seem to have been made public. If it's out there yet, I am tracking down a number of leads. I mentioned on TYT Daily, which is a daily webcast that we do for TYT Investigates. I mentioned the other day that we could use people's help, right? The TYT Army, call your representatives, call your senators, find out, are you planning on participating? Are you planning on lending your name to the letterhead, which they use to extend their invitations, which gives it sort of that veneer of bipartisan or at least nonpartisan, underpinnings.
For those who might be listening to the podcast, so you can DM TYT Investigates. You'll call politicians who represent you, ask them if they're going to be participating. We have that hashtag Democrats in the family that you can use, because this is, as we've been alluding to throughout this, it's a thing that has not really been challenged all that much, and we're not going to find out more about it and people's attendance and involvement in this event unless there starts to be more focus. It has to be a thing that people are talking about, and so I'm glad that TYT Investigates is pushing to get more people involved in that.
Well, thanks for your support and helping us spread the word so that people can help us surface exactly what's going on.
And always, Jonathan, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thanks very much. Happy New Year.
You too. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.